You see, the truth is that it's never been harder to win than right now. Why? Because you can't focus. It's impossible for you to sit down at your desk and focus for 1 hour straight on doing the boring work without opening up Facebook, YouTube, or even Instagram. In reality, boredom is the key ingredient to achieving every single thing you've always wanted to achieve in life. Whether it be building a great physique, running a profitable online business. If you can learn to be comfortable being bored, you'll be able to achieve these things with ease. Or at least, you'll get ahead of 99% of people with a fraction of the effort. And then, people will look at you in awe, wondering how the hell you've been able to achieve so much, so fast, seemingly so effortlessly. There is one thing that you really need to understand. It's that the hustle culture lied to you. You've been told that if you want to be successful, you need to get up at 4, go to sleep at 11, actually at midnight, and grind every single waking hour. You can't take a break. You can't take a vacation for years, and then maybe you'll be successful. That's the sort of dream you've been sold. That, or following the traditional route, getting massively in debt, going to university, then getting a good job if you actually manage to get one. Because more and more big companies like Google, Apple, Meta are laying off hundreds of thousands of employees every single year. And with the rise of artificial intelligence, of machines, of softwares, we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. In the next few decades to come, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people all across the globe are going to lose their jobs. But then if you manage to get a good job, you'll need to slowly climb the corporate ladder all of your life, work slave-like hours, and maybe, if you get lucky, one day you might be able to make 6 figures a year. But the downside is that you'll be working 12 hours a day, every single day. And even on the weekends, you'll be taking meetings, replying to emails, so you'll never really get to relax and unwind. So on the one hand, you've got the people saying that you need to work every single hour, 7 days a week, otherwise you'll never be successful. And then there's the traditional path, which is basically get massively in debt, then get a good job, get a mortgage, and that's pretty much all your life is. Enjoy your 2 weeks of vacations per year, and that's it. But what if you want more than that? What if you want a life of true freedom and of true abundance? What if you want to travel the world, to pick your own schedule, to be your own boss? Is it even possible? The thing is, you see, the hustle culture people have told you you need to do more. You're not doing enough, and that is your fault. That's the reason why you're not successful. It's because you're lazy, you're not doing enough. In reality, that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I'll be honest, if you don't do enough, of course, you're only going to get disappointing results. You're not going to get what you want. But at the same time, if you listen blindly to the advice of the hustle culture fanatics, you'll do way too much, and in the end, you'll get even worse results. Now, you may wonder, how could this be possible? It's because of something which is called the point of diminishing returns. To give you an example, let's say you sign up for a gym membership. It's the new year, you're ready to finally take your fitness goals seriously. You're gonna build some muscle, you're gonna get jacked. So you walk into the gym, you do an intense workout session. It's your first workout ever, you feel great. The next day you come back, the day after that you come back. And at first, you only do a workout, let's say 3 to 4 times a week. You start to see some progress, you fill up your clothes more, you start to build some muscle. The people in your inner circle notice it, and they compliment you on it. So you feel great, you feel like you're about to reach that goal, you're getting jacked. But that is where you make your worst mistake. You think, well, if I exercise 4 times a week, I get great results. Surely if I exercised 2 hours, 7 days a week, I'd get even more results. If I ate even more food, if I slept even longer, then naturally I'd build even more muscle, right? So you decide to put this hypothesis to the test. You start to go to the gym 7 days a week, you eat 1,000 calories on top of your maintenance, but then the opposite effect happens. You notice that for some reason, you start to plateau. You're not really gaining weight or losing weight, and you struggle to get stronger on the main exercises. So now you wonder, I'm doing more, I'm putting more effort into it, I'm working a lot harder, yet I'm getting worse results? How could this be? That is because you hit the point of diminishing returns. Now you're doing so much for your current level that your body doesn't have the time to properly recover from all the exercise that you're doing. So now you start to feel more and more fatigued. Now you're out of breath more quickly. Now you can't lift for as long. You can't lift as much weight. Because you're eating too much, you start to gain too much body fat, but not more muscle. And you wonder what you're doing wrong. After all, you listened to the hustle culture people. Now this doesn't only apply to fitness, it also applies to your work. You might be thinking, if I work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, then I'm going to be more successful than my competition. I'll reach my goals faster, and I'll make, if your goal is to make, let's say, $10,000 per month, I'll make $10,000 per month faster than if I just did less. But again, if you do too much, past a certain point, you'll hit the point of diminishing returns. So anything extra that you do past that point, the quality of your work is going to start to drop significantly. Not to work an extra hour a day, you start to cut back on sleep, you start to eat cheap junk food, and you don't nourish your body as well, because you want to work longer hours, so now you don't have the time to cook yourself a healthy meal. But over the course of weeks and months, the quality of your work, like I said, drops down significantly. The truth is, if being more successful, making more money was all about hard work, a lot more people would be making a lot more money. Because I'll tell you this one thing, some people right now, they work a lot less than you do, and they make 100 more times, 1,000 more times the money. Why? It's because they work in a better opportunity than you do. If you work a regular 9-to-5 job, your income is directly tied to the amount of hours that you work every single day. But if you had started a business, on the other hand, especially an online based business, technically speaking, the sky isn't even the limit. In fact, there is no limit to how much money you can generate in a given month. With an online business, you have the potential to make $100,000 a month, but with most careers, you'd be lucky to make $100,000 a year. So that is why, no matter which goal you want to reach, you need to pick the right vehicle. If you want to build more muscle, to look like a bodybuilder, but all you do is elliptical or running on a treadmill, of course you're never going to get what you want, you'll never reach your goal. And while it might seem obvious, in work, in business, in career, a lot of people make that mistake. They follow a path, usually a predetermined path, that will actually never help them to reach their goals. And then years later they look back, they look at their life, nothing is as they want it to be, and they wonder why. And just because you're working a lot of hours does not mean that you are being productive. You can be working 12 hours a day, but if you focus on the wrong thing, none of that is going to matter. What matters, it's not how much time you dedicate to a specific task, it's what you do in the first place. And when it comes to time, just because you work longer hours does not mean that you are more deserving of success. So what do I mean by this exactly? Plenty of studies have shown, time and time again, that on the average 8-hour workday, most people only are productive for 3 to 4 hours at the maximum. So especially if you work from home, you could oftentimes cut down your work hours in half and get more stuff done. That's the crazy part. Because a lot of people, they say, I don't have the time to start my business, to go to the gym, to start learning the piano, to learn a new language. But the reality is this. Sure, some people have more responsibilities than others, so they will have less time available in a given day. But at the same time, it's all a matter of priorities. If something is truly important to you, if it matters more than the other aspects of your life, you will find a way to prioritize it and to get it done. And the reason why, more often than not, you can't reach your goals, it's because you can't focus. You would be amazed to see what you can accomplish in 1 hour of deep work as opposed to 3 hours of shallow work. I invite you to put this to the test. Close all doors, all windows, put on some headphones, listen to binaural beats, set a timer for an hour. Your phone, keep it out of sight, out of mind. Hide it somewhere. Put it in a drawer. You don't want to see it. Disable all notifications on your browser and on your laptop. And for those 60 minutes, set a clear intention. What do you want to accomplish by the end of that time? If you have a service-based online business, it could be reaching out to 100 new leads. If you're a university student, it could be writing the introduction or the first page of an assignment. If you need to respond to emails, it could be responding to the last 20 emails. You always want to go into a deep work session with a clear intention. Otherwise, it's completely pointless. And the reason why is because of Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law states that work expands so as to fill the time allotted for its completion. So in plain and simple English, what this means is that the longer you allow yourself to take to finish a task, the longer it's going to take. If you say, this project, it's going to take me a week, you're not really going to push yourself that hard. You're not really going to focus as hard. And most of the time, when you'll be working, you'll actually be doing shallow work, not deep work. Chances are you could get it done in half that amount of time. But for that, you need to focus. Now you see, a lot of people have been told by the hustle culture that as long as they work hard, they can make anything work. I'm sorry to break it to you, but this couldn't be further from the truth. And unfortunately, a lot of beginners, especially in business, make the mistake of falling for this trap. Because after all, it sounds good. If I work hard enough, I can do anything. But that type of advice is oftentimes very misleading. The truth is that if you choose the wrong business model, no matter how much effort you put into it, you will never get rich. I mean, you wouldn't expect the guy making burgers all day long at McDonald's, even if he works 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, to make $1 million just with that job. It would be completely unrealistic. The path that the McDonald's employee is following is not the right path to become extremely wealthy. And so here it's the same thing. As Warren Buffett said it exceedingly well himself, it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you get in. So if you want to discover what is the best online business to start for you, I've recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular online business model. Together we take a look at the pros and the cons, and I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process that you can use to get your first customers as quickly as possible. It's the first link in the description below. Now Blaise Pascal said that humanity's problems stem from the fact that we can't sit alone in a quiet room. And honestly, he was more right than he thought. When you go to bed at night, it's time to go to sleep. Do you ever struggle to fall asleep because you've got 10,000 different thoughts about different things coming from every angle? For some reason, you just can't find peace and quiet. Your mind is racing. The reason why this happens is that because we're so afraid of boredom, of doing literally nothing, of sitting with our thoughts, just focusing on our breath, we are always trying to stimulate ourselves, to occupy ourselves with something. I mean, just go outside for a while. Look at the people waiting for their bus. You'll find most of them glued to their phones. It's like we lost the ability to be present in the moment without always needing to be hyper-stimulated. But the thing is, if you're always hyper-stimulating yourself, how do you expect to be able to just sit down at your desk and do the boring work that you need to do to become successful? Because in comparison, for your brain, it's extremely boring. So no wonder why you won't have any motivation. No wonder why you won't be able to focus if you're used to consuming so much dopamine that you didn't have anything to do to earn. So ironically, at night, when your head hits the pillow, it's the only time of peace and quiet during the whole day that you give to your mind. So no wonder why you can't fall asleep. All of the thoughts, the feelings that you've been repressing the whole day because you were too busy hyper-stimulating yourself, now they will come back to the surface. And that is exactly why practicing mindful meditation before you fall asleep is great to ensure a good night of sleep. And the other benefit of doing this is that it will also greatly improve the quality of your work. Because if you train yourself to be present in the moment, which again, meditation is a great tool to help you do just that. Now, when you sit down at your desk to do the work, you're used to focusing on something, which is not necessarily hyper-stimulating, so it will be a lot easier to get to work. Now, speaking about sleep, please do not ever listen to the people who tell you that you need to sacrifice sleep to make your dreams come true or to become successful. On social media and even in the real world sometimes, you'll hear some people tell you that if you truly want to become successful, to make more money, to climb the corporate ladder, you can't afford to sleep 8 hours a night. What a whole load of BS. That is the worst kind of advice people can give you. If you don't get enough sleep, not only will your health seriously start to deteriorate, and over the long term, this will have seriously devastating effects on your health. But very quickly, within just a matter of days, within one day in fact, the quality of your work is going to drop down significantly. How do you expect to do great, high quality work on 2 hours of sleep? Come on. So the bottom line is this: if you truly want to become successful, whether it be in business, in your career, if you want to get the top grades and go into the best university to get your dream job, you need to develop the ability to focus deeply, intensely for a long period of time. When you're working, what you need to do is to close down the doors, the windows, put on some headphones, listen to binaural beats, set a timer, and turn off all the notifications. Put your phone away, hide it, put it in a drawer. You want it out of sight, so it's out of mind. And you want to minimize all interruptions as possible. If people are nearby, tell them that you don't want them to disturb you. If they have something to say, they can say it later. For now, you need to focus. Because studies have shown that every time you get just slightly interrupted, it will at the very least take 15 minutes to get back in the flow of what you were doing. So if you get interrupted 4 times an hour, it adds up, and at the end of the day, you barely got anything done. Now, something else that you need to be extremely careful about, it's multitasking. You want to avoid it at any cost. In reality, when you try to multitask, what is happening is that your brain is spending most of the time trying to shift between different states of flow. So if you're going to write, just write. If you need to take meetings, schedule them all in the afternoon. Batch tasks so you waste less time and you don't need to force your brain to constantly go from one state of flow to another, because the cognitive capacities required to write as opposed to take meetings or to read, to learn, they are completely different. So if you always switch from one state to another, it's going to confuse your brain, and your brain's going to waste a lot of energy switching between different tasks as opposed to actually producing high quality work. The only kind of multitasking that you can do, it could be taking sales calls as you're standing up, as you're walking on a treadmill even, because it's not a task which is in conflict with another task. Now, to learn to be comfortable with boredom, what you do outside of work matters just as much as what you do during the time that you're working. So the goal is this: outside of work, you want to get your brain to be used to less dopamine. A few ways that you can do this is to delete social media apps from your phone. Unless you're using them for your business, to promote your services or products, you don't necessarily need social media. Study after study has shown time and time again that it makes you more depressed. So what's the point really? Or if you want to keep social media, put all of your social media apps within a folder and hide that folder. What you can also do is to simplify the home screen, so you only have the essential apps that you always use, but things that won't distract you. And if you want to go down the extreme route, you can even activate the grayscale mode on your phone. You can download a simple app, and some phones even let you activate a grayscale mode directly in the settings. But basically what this is going to do is to turn your phone in black and white. So now, because your brain is not going to see 10,000 different colors, it's not going to be as enticing anymore. It's not going to feel as fun, as rewarding anymore. If you see a notification, instead of it being this flashy red icon, it will simply be dark. So it's not really going to be that attention grabbing. And when you see that little red icon, it feels like it's something very important. It's urgent because it's in the red color. So what are you waiting for? Now it's time to go crush the competition. With that said, as always, I'm waiting for you on the other side.